Right, VW Sportsman, the next class. First pair. Lining up below us here. It is, of course, your #1 qualifier and champ from last year, Paul Robinson, taking on Reese Finney. Reese dialing in 16.9 with a little VW. And Paul Robinson, Audi TT, 1471. It's pretty much what he was running all day yesterday. Well, Reese way out in front, but here comes Paul Robinson at the stripe, and it is... Oh, that was a close one, actually. Paul Robinson takes the win there, 1474 and a 71 dial-in, just 300ths off. Very similar reaction times to them as well. But it is Paul Robinson who goes through. Nigel Gregg with the Turpitz Audi A6, and it's Tom Circuit with the Lupo. 1544 plays 1818. The Lupo will be going first, trying to stay ahead of the big Audi. There goes Tom, and there goes the Audi. Looking at each other at the stripe. Who's the bravest? It is Nigel Gregg. 1612 takes it by 0.2 of a second to a loser 1897. Right, Polly Judge and Lorraine Large. Polly 1639 in the Audi. Lorraine 1550 with the Nurse. A lovely little Beetle. Well, I think they're looking at each other going, you go, no, you go. I want to make you break out. I'll make myself break out. The winner, 1683, Polly Judge. Lorraine, 1638. Maybe lifted a bit too much there. But it is Polly Judge that takes the win. Nigel Gregson and Philip Jones. It's the Moon Stomper Golf taking on the Dragon Wagon A3. And the 1354, not enough for Nigel Gregson. Phil Jones takes that one, 14.95. Did have a 3/10 reaction time advantage as well, so well done to Phil Jones. He's through. Jordan Clark and Karen Waterhouse. The Golf and the Audi TT. 1390 plays 14.55. It's the Audi going first. Oh, but the Audi goes red, so an automatic win there for Jordan Clark. Even though Jordan broke out, the red light already told the story of the race there, but it is Jordan that is through. Andrew Bambrick and Danny Bean. $13.23 dial in for Andrew Bambrick. Danny Bean dials in 14.20. Well, Andrew way out in front. And does lift off there. Well done to Andrew Bambrick, taking that one 14 flat to lose that 15.04. So Caitlin Wilson and John Gallant, but it's game over already. John Gallant goes red, so it is Caitlin Wilson that is going through to round number 2. Let's see how she gets on running a 17.15. 18.07, well, she must have lifted. John Gallant goes 16.43. Oh, he's going to be annoyed with himself. Jerry Sadler and Hannah Carter. There's a story about that. It's going to change every round, you realise that? So Jerry dials in 15.75, Hannah dials in 16.20. And Jerry Sadler takes that. That's a shame, because I had all these girls' names with H lined up for Hazel Carter all the way through the day. But never mind. There is a story behind that, which anybody who was around last night will know. But anyway, Jerry Sadler takes the win. Well done to Jerry. So I'll have to continue that at Bug Jam with Hazel Carter. Steve Metcalf and Bruce Harvey, your next pair. 16.15, plays 14.20. Steve will lead first. And there goes Bruce. Chase him down. $16.97 gets the job done there for Steve Metcalf. Bruce Harvey goes 16.57, nowhere near where he wanted to be. So Steve Metcalf is through. All right, last pair, Martin Ayton and Andrew Clark. Then following that is the first session for Street Weekend. Darlings for this pair. 15.90 for Martin. Andrew Clark, 18.7. Andrew will lead first. There he goes. And now is Martin's chance to try and chase him down and get round him before the stripe, or hope that Andrew breaks out. Closing in at the stripe. And the win goes to Martin Ayton. Andrew Clark did get there first, but broke out by 0.2 of a second. The W Pro. Eliminations at round number 1. Dave Crowhurst and Ed Keach, your first pair. Dave Crowhurst, very entertaining in qualifying, actually. Every time he put a dial in, he went quicker. And then he put another dial in, he went quicker than that. Then he put a big change in, and he still went quicker. So he ended up putting in a number that he couldn't achieve, just to get the one the right side. We ended up with a 9.39, going alongside and 11.95 best from Ned Keach. The Darlings then are 9.35 for Dave, 11.95 for Ed. So the golf will lead first. Chris got a red. Dave Crowhurst gets a 9.31 breakout. That was a bit of a weird one, that. So a little bit of a query on that one. Danielle Coppin going to be taking on Graham Fairhead. Darlings then 10.70 for Graham, but Danielle will be leaving first, 12.25. Oh, Danielle goes red. So Graham Fairhead takes the win. $12.78, $11.09, numbers irrelevant. The red light told the story. Next up, Ian Dale with the strip burner, taking on Chris Waterhouse with the Bad Habit Audi S3. 12.20 plays 10 flat. That's an easy one to work out. 2.2 seconds difference on the tree. Beetle goes first. Oh, but Chris Waterhouse goes too soon. He goes red. So Ian Dale gets the win. $10.48 and $12.63 the numbers, but the red light on the tree in Chris Waterhouse's lane gave the win to Ian. Jake Fronder with Ninor 2.0, the Golf Van, alongside Jacob Bailey with the Jet R. 11.40 for Jacob, 12.05 for Jake with the van. Certainly one of the more interesting vehicles you'll ever see. Way! And Rob Judge, the man behind the wheels there, they're actually happy about that. They finally got a wheelie. Oh, and he breaks out. 12.02 on a 12.05, despite being on and off the throttle. 16.08 takes the win. So, Abby Tether, number one qualifier. Because of the odd-numbered field, she goes into round number 2 with a bye run. She dials in 12.81. And she gets a 12.78. 10.89 plays 10.50, so James will be going first. Oh, James Hodgson way out in front. And takes the win with 11.14. John goes through there with a 12.19. But it'll be James that'll be racing Abby Tether in round number 2. Race for earlier on, round 1 matchup between Ed Keach and Dave Crowhurst. Fortunately, they could both hot lap it and turn it around quickly. What's quite interesting with that pairing is obviously the beam went red for Ed. Dave Crowhurst did his run and broke out, so what if there's any adjustments? So Ed Keach, Darling, 11.95. Dave Crowhurst, 9.29. Ed gets there first and takes a win with a 12.04, a 9.53 there for Dave Crowhurst. So well done there to Ed. He goes through to race Jacob Bailey in round number 2. VW Sportsman. Eliminations round number 2 for them. Steve Metcalf and Jordan Clark. Steve Darling in 16.15, Jordan 13.8. Oh, that's a shame for Jordan. He goes red. There's only 0-2 red as well, but a red is a red. So Steve Metcalf goes through. Let's see if he can hit his 16.15. 16.34. Lose out there. Jordan Clark, he went red and he broke out as well. Did everything he could not to win that. But it is Steve Metcalf that goes through. Caitlin Wilson and Paul Robinson. Well, Caitlin's picked her fight here. Number 1 qualifier, the champion from last year, but then Morgan Wilson, a former national champion as well, but in junior dragster. And, she's now progressed into VW Sportsman here with the family Beetle. Both get the green once again. So Paul Robinson in chase mode, definitely catching, but see the brake lights come on, and it is a win for Paul Robinson by 0.6 at the stripe, 17.20 on a 7.15, 17.15, but Paul Robinson goes through. He gets a bye in the next round as well. Polly Judge, Philip Jones. It's the Audi TT against the Audi A3. $16.39 plays $14.60, both in pre-stage. Oh, Polly goes red. Ah, curses. So a freebie for Phil Jones. $14.60 was the darling compared to $16.39. $14.65, that was a good run from Phil. Nigel Gregg and Martin Ayton. It's the big Audi A6, starting in 15.44. Going to have to wait just a little bit. As Martin Ayton will go first, 16.1 the dial in there. Both get green lights, which means they didn't go before the tree ran. Go too soon, obviously a red will appear. And it is a Martin Ayton that got there first, but he went too quick. He broke out. So it is Nigel Gregg that goes through. $16.10 was the target. We went $16.08, just that little bit too quick. Last pair, Andrew Bambrick and Jerry Sadler. Andrew Darling in 13.23, but it's going to be Jerry leaving first, 15.69. Close at the stripe, but it's a 13.52. Andrew Bambrick takes the win to lose that 15.66. Actually, it was a breakout as well. Jerry got there first, but went a little bit too quick. night VW Pro Eliminations. This is round 2. This is Ed Keach and Jacob Bailey. All right, Jacob dialing in 1140, Ed dialing in 1195, so it will be the Tangoed Golf going first. And then it'll be down to the Jetta to chase him down. Oh, Jacob goes red, so it is a win. What's weird there is Ed Keach had an 084 green and Jacob had an 084 red. Jacob with his, well, a better run actually, 1120, but it is Ed Keach that goes through. He goes into the semis, and guess what? He's got a bye run into the final, so a double victory if you like. Graham Fairhead and Ian Dale, your next pair. Ian looking for a 12.20, Graham 10.70, 1.5 seconds between them off the line. Oh, breakout there for Ian Dale by just 100th of a second. Graham Fairhead, he takes the win. $12.19, just too quick on a 12.20 dial, so 11.02 takes the win. Abby Tether, 12.76, taking on James Hodson, 10.89. So Abby was the #1 qualifier. She had a bye in round 1, but tough customer here with James Hodson. Indeed, very tough. James takes the win there, 11.15, takes it in effect on a whole shot win. An 0.9 light. Abby was closer to dial in, but James got there first. Dodges a huge bullet there. Right, VW Sportsman. This to set the semis then. The quarterfinals. Steve Metcalf, Andrew Bambrick. Whoever wins this gets a bye into the final. It's just the way the field works out. You have an odd number or too many cars for a 16 car but not enough for a 32. Just the way it works. Oh, Steve Metcalf goes red, so Andrew Bambrick can take it easy. It was only a 008 red, but a red is a red unfortunately for Steve. Andrew is going to be into the semis, where all he needs to do is break the beams. Then he's into the final. 13.69 for the win. All right, Nigel Gregg and Phil Jones, pick your Audi. Is it going to be the A6 or the A3? Is it going to be the Turpitz or the Dragon Wagon? 15.55 plays 14.60. It will be the A6 going first. Both away well. And it's Nigel Gregg that takes that. 15.62 on a 55, beats a 14.77. Right, Paul Robinson gets a bye here. A predetermined bye. So he's into the semis where he will race Nigel Gregg, and it'll be Andrew on his own, the other side of the ladder. Me. Missed them. They snuck under the radar. So, VW Sportsman, semi-final. Nigel Gregg and Paul Robinson. The dial-ins end, 15.55 for the A6, 14.84 for the Audi TT. Both in stage, tree runs. Nigel gets the green. Paul Robinson gets a green. Race on to the stripe. Whoever gets there first without breaking out will win. And it is Paul Robinson that takes that one. They had virtually identical reaction times, 0.17. But Paul Robinson was closer to dial-in, and he got there first, and he's through to the final, where he'll be racing Andrew Bambrick. It's just the way the ladder worked out. Andrew gets a bye into the final. And he duly breaks the beams. And he's through to the final. So just coasting through with an 18.52 at 59 miles an hour, just saving it for the final. Now it is VW Pro. It is Ed Keach on a bye run. Got past Jacob Bailey in the previous round, and then after a rerun got past Dave Crowhurst. But Dave was happy, he's had a new PB this weekend. Ed Keach just doing what he needs to do to get the win. So he is through. Now we're going to see a race between James Hodson and Graham Fairhead, two very experienced VW racers, both former class champions as well. Graham Fairhead, the defending champion actually at the moment. Next time we see I think it's Buck Jam, unless they're at the Summer Nationals as well. Could be. So a very busy race season for everybody this year, as is every year. Well, just 100th of a second difference between him and dial-in. James with a 10.89, but Graham Fairhead 10.90. Both away well. Graham pulling away. There's nothing that James can do about this unless Graham breaks out. One far off it, 10.93 on a 10.90. Graham Fairhead into the final. VW Pro. Ed Keach taking on Graham Fairhead. So the Misfit Type 3 taking on the VW Golf. 1.05 seconds difference on the tree. Going to be Ed that's going to be going first. This for the big trophy and the big points. Looks like Graham's drawn alongside. And Graham takes the win. 10.91 on a 10.90 dial-in. Very, very well judged indeed. I lose out there for 12.11. Graham taking the win there in VW Sportsman. Paul Robinson and Andrew Bambrick. Paul was your #1 qualifier. Andrew was #2 qualifier. And they meet in the final. Paul will be going first. 14.89. Wound it back a bit. 13.23 for Andrew. But Paul is your defending national champion. He gets the green. as does Andrew. Paul looks like he's way out in front. Gets the brake lights on, but he breaks out. 14.78. The win goes to Andrew Bambrick. Paul still crossed the line by 0.4 of a second. He had a 10th in the bag off the line, but broke out. So it is Andrew Bambrick that takes the win.